August 1945. One bomb erased an entire city in seconds. 3 days later, another followed. Here's the disturbing truth most people never stop to ask. Why these two cities? Why Hiroshima? Why Nagasaki? Why not Tokyo or Kyoto or a military base? This wasn't random. It wasn't just about ending the war. It was a calculated decision, rooted in strategy, psychology, science, and power. Imagine being in that room, American generals, scientists, and politicians, knowing whatever choice you make will permanently redefine warfare and human morality. This is the story behind that choice, not the simplified version, the real one. By mid-1945, World War II in Europe was over. But in the Pacific, Japan was still fighting, ferociously. The US military faced a nightmare scenario. Operation Downfall, a full invasion of Japan's mainland. Military estimates predicted hundreds of thousands of American casualties and potentially millions of Japanese deaths. Japan had shown it would not surrender easily. Kamikaze pilots, civilian mobilization, a culture that saw surrender as dishonor. American leaders feared an invasion wouldn't just be long, it would be apocalyptic. So the question became brutal and simple. How do you force an empire to surrender without invading it? The answer already existed, hidden deep within the Manhattan Project. The atomic bomb wasn't just meant to destroy Japan, it was meant to shock the world. The US wanted a weapon so overwhelming that surrender would be instant and unquestionable. But there was another audience watching closely, the Soviet Union. The war was ending, and a new global power struggle was beginning. Demonstrating nuclear dominance wasn't just military, it was geopolitical. This was the birth of the nuclear age, and Hiroshima would be its opening statement. One bomb, one city, no ambiguity. Hiroshima wasn't chosen randomly. It met every requirement the US military wanted. First, it was a military hub. Army headquarters, supply depots, troop concentrations. Second, it was mostly untouched by conventional bombing. This mattered. Scientists wanted to clearly measure the bomb's effects, blast radius, heat, radiation. Third, geography. Hiroshima sat in a basin, surrounded by hills, perfect for maximizing destruction. And perhaps most chilling of all, the city was densely populated. More destruction meant more psychological impact. Hiroshima was placed on a shortlist. Once there, it never left. Kyoto was originally a top candidate, large population, cultural heart of Japan. But US Secretary of War Henry Stimson personally intervened. He had visited Kyoto. He understood its cultural and historical value. He argued destroying it would poison post-war peace forever. Tokyo, meanwhile, had already been devastated by firebombing. Over 100,000 civilians killed in one night alone. The bomb's effects would be harder to measure there, so Tokyo was removed. Kyoto was spared. Hiroshima remained. Nagasaki was never supposed to be the primary target. That honor belonged to Kokura. But on August 9th, cloud cover and smoke obscured Kokura. The bomber circled. Fuel ran low. So they turned to the secondary target, Nagasaki, a city of shipyards, factories, and civilians. The bomb detonated off-center, limiting destruction, but still killing tens of thousands. Nagasaki wasn't chosen because it was ideal. It was chosen because the mission had to be completed. History decided by weather. The explosions lasted seconds. The suffering lasted decades. People vaporized instantly. Shadows burned into concrete. children searching for parents who no longer existed. Radiation sickness followed, slow, invisible, merciless. Survivors, the hibakusha, were stigmatized, feared, and forgotten. When we talk about strategy, we must not erase the people beneath it. This wasn't abstract, it was human. The atomic bombings forced Japan's surrender. That much is undeniable. But whether they were necessary, that debate never ended. Some argue it saved millions. Others say Japan was already near surrender. What's certain is this: Hiroshima and Nagasaki weren't accidents. They were decisions, calculated, deliberate, and irreversible. And once the nuclear door was opened, the world could never